Now, any kind of worldwide virulent outbreak is, fictional or otherwise, a terrifying notion in its own right. But much like with many other things that it delivers us, the horrifying organisation known only as the SCP Foundation has one particular plague that would hypothetically bring this planet to its knees in a flesh-based campaign of amorphous conglomeration. Let me introduce you to SCP-610, one of the Foundation's deadliest entries under containment, and over the course of this video we're going to outline the hypothetical implications of a planet ravaged by a disease like no other, the flesh that hates. Oh, and also on top of being a highly contagious flesh plague, it's also worshipped by a cult of fanatic followers. It's probably best that I mention that, isn't it? Hello internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch, as today we curiously ask the question, what if SCP-610 infected the planet? Roll the clip.
Pull the side open.
Ugh, gross. But trust me guys, that's nothing compared to what lies ahead. For the curious amongst you, that clip was from 2011's prequel to John Carpenter's 1982 classic, The Thing, and for the most part, the viral mechanics of The Thing are a glaring visual cue to just exactly what we're dealing with. Vile piles of flesh all mushed up together. Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but I hope you've all got strong gastric constitutions going into this video. For those of you that haven't seen our video on the more basic outline of SCP-610, now would be high time to check out our LBQ video on it, but for those of you that haven't, here's a quick overview. As the record states, SCP-610 is a Keter-class anomalous entity that at first glance appears to be a highly contagious skin disease transmitted by contact, and while it definitely is as simple as that, there is much more to 610 than first meets the eye. After a subject has been infected by the disease, they first exhibit symptoms that include a rash, itching, and highly increased skin sensitivity. Within 3 hours, the disease will cause blemishes that resemble heavy scar tissue, often forming in the chest and arm areas, spreading to the legs and back within an additional hour, and after 5 hours, completely consuming the victim in infectious scar tissue. But unfortunately for them, this flesh-based virulent rollercoaster has only just begun. After the infection completely consumes the victim, all signs of functions of life will cease for approximately 3 minutes. After that, heart rate and brain activity triple, and the scar tissue that previously consumed them will begin to move on its own accord, growing at a rapid rate, often completely stripping the victim of all resemblance of humanity. Now, if you didn't already realize, this is the point in infection where things actually get really bad, and victims often exhibit the growth of extra limbs, and arms and legs suddenly start shooting out of places that they really shouldn't. Strangely though, in certain cases, victims of SCP-610 seem to split into two camps, those that move freely and those that become part of the furniture. And I do mean that literally. Under unknown conditions, an infected individual will cease moving and place itself in a location it deems suitable, and roots itself, after which its fleshy growths begin spreading across the affected area, thus furthering the suitable areas of infection. The other camp, the ones that move freely, well, yeah, they do exactly what you expect. Run toward you with arms wide open, gurgling like the fleshy plague carriers that they are, hoping to hug their next helpless human. Alright, chums up, let's do this. Do not hug these people under any circumstances. Okay? Okay. Now, as the Foundation states, SCP-610 is widely considered to be relatively contained due to its isolated area of infection. As far as the Foundation are concerned though, the area that the disease affects are a series of villages close to Lake Baikal in southern Siberia, and because of its remote proximity to any other population, keeping tabs from a distance has proven to be a worthwhile remedy, given the fact that they can't send any humans to the area, as risk of infection is close to 100% certain. That doesn't stop them from sending robot rovers in though to gather intel, those brave little fellas. But we're not concerned with that, because under this hypothetical play-by-play, SCP-610 has just broken out of its containment in southern Siberia, and that can only mean one thing. Remember that cult of fanatic followers that I mentioned at the beginning? Yeah, in this scenario, the Sarkic cult has succeeded in its mission of harnessing SCP-610 as a global pandemic, and their first campaign begins on the Eurasian continent. Now, there are nearly 145 million people that live in Russia, spread over 17.1 million square kilometers of pure, majestic, rough and rugged terrain, which you think would be a factor in any other scenario, but not this one, because SCP-610 literally becomes the landscape, exponentially furthering the influence of its fleshy tendrils. Now, the nearest populated city to the Lake Baikal containment zone is Irkutsk, that has a population of nearly 600,000 people. Now, if we take the small villages in the Foundation's containment zone as a benchmark, which was comprised of perhaps several hundred people, a city of such large size would be an unimaginable resource to the Sarkic cult. Take everything that we know about the infected sites and then apply it to the largest city in Siberia, and you can see that we've got a pretty big problem on our hands. Or our hands are the problem. I'm not entirely sure. Russia is big though, really big, and it would probably be more effort to head to Western Russia than it would be to turn towards Mongolia and the city of Ulaanbaatar, which, once that becomes one with the flesh that hates, would be an entryway into China, and once China was added into the fleshy fold, well, that's really bad. China has a population of 1.4 billion people, and if even a third of that succumb to 610, that's still nearly 500 million people added to the fleshy amorphous pile. It's safe to say that under a catastrophic outbreak, pretty much all of Asia, as well as Europe and the vast majority of Africa, would be infected by SCP-610. And geez, just imagine what kind of horrific landscape that would even look like. Literal cities of flesh, the skyscrapers of Beijing and Shanghai covered in an amorphous mass of its inhabitants, an entire skyline of anomalous creation, the Eastern world caught off guard by the schemes of the Sarkic religion, only added to further the nefarious machine of the vile and grotesque Neo-Sarkic cult. Highways and byways of living matter, constantly extending its fleshy tendrils and tentacles forward, crawling like the massive lump of matter that it is. The thing is, you may be expecting some kind of military response, but as the SCP Foundation have found to their regret, the infected are near impervious to bullets, and they don't ever really die. They just get consumed all over again into the flesh. Flamethrowers have proven to be slightly effective against those infected by SCP-610, but the real kicker is that they are just too numerous to successfully combat. And if any government was caught off guard by this rapidly spreading infection, which they definitely would be, how could they possibly even prepare a military force capable enough to battle against an ever-encroaching tide of human flesh? You see, there is a reason that the Foundation kept their distance. It's too virulent, it's too effective at spreading itself, and any form of combat would require close proximity to the infected hordes, and that only means one thing: you're part of it. So what's the answer? And although you may be thinking, nukes, Jack, it's definitely nukes, my response would be not even nuclear armaments would be effective enough against literally several continents worth of SCP-610. Granted, whilst the outbreak spread its way across half the planet, the other half would have chance to fully realize the extent of the situation and prepare themselves. The USA, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, perhaps the UK if they're lucky, and pretty much all of South America would successfully go into a lockdown, given the fact that they have one natural barrier against 610, the ocean. But then suddenly Alaska starts to get very twitchy, and the thought of its close proximity to the Asian continent sends people running for the hills all over again. I'd like to say that humanity mustered the courage to fight back, but unless they could create an entire army of robots to... Wait a minute, that's it, isn't it? SCP-610 cannot be fought flesh on flesh. It's just too dangerous, it's too risky to even get close enough to find out. But metal on flesh, or more importantly, highly resilient carbon fiber and a few shoulder-mounted machine guns on flesh. Yeah, now we're talking. Then we'd have a fighting chance. Then we might be capable of remotely holding back the amorphous tidal wave of the flesh that hates. Well, if that's the case, all hail our new robot overlords, I guess. I mean, surely it's got to be better than being mushed up into a big ball of flesh, right? Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Who are you? Who? The Church of the Broken God. Never heard of you.
You have been chosen for ascension.
Sorry guys, I think I'm gonna have to go now. Well, there we have it, our comprehensive play-by-play to the hypothetical question, what if SCP-610 infected the planet? It'd be very, very bad. What do you guys think? Why don't you let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Before we depart though, let's take a quick look at some of your more resounding SCP-based remarks from over the past few days. First up, Weeb says, what if the O5 Council fought life's biggest questions? Well, I'd like to see them try, to be honest. The last time they had a pop at that, the whole SCP-2317 thing happened, and that wasn't very pretty at all, was it? Next up, Junker Fan says, Jack Finch, I realize that narrating these LBQ SCP videos is perhaps your special containment procedure. May I note this down? Whew. Well, Junker Fan, finally someone has figured it out. I'm one step closer. Of course, Junker Fan, please, please, please note it down to your heart's content. And also, everyone else take note. Well, on that note, folks, unfortunately that's all we've got time for in today's video. Just stick around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe button. We'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions. And until next time, you take it easy.